Hey guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. My name's Amanda, and today I want to share with you all of the books I bought when I was in Asheville with my friends. All right, so the last weekend in October, I went with some of my favoriteest people in the whole world. Three of my friends, Lindsey from Lindsey's Little Library, Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand, and Krista from Books and Jams. We all went down to Asheville, North Carolina and spent the weekend together, and it was so much fun. Like, so much fun. Go check out each of their channels. They are all going to have their own book hauls from that weekend, as well as if you go into their channel, you will see other videos from that weekend as well. And we just had a blast hanging out together, getting to spend time together for the first time in real life, and it was phenomenal. So while we were there, we obviously went book shopping because, I mean, duh. So I have quite the haul here for you. You know, some of this was not planned, some of it was. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. So let's get into this. The first books that I want to share with you are books that we got at Malaprops. Malaprops is an independent bookstore in Asheville, North Carolina, right in downtown. And so we went there. One of the fun things that we did, you will find it on Sarah's channel, is that we each set each other, one other person, up with a blind date with a book. We set each other up on a blind date with a book. And the book that I got, I was set up by Sarah, and she set me up with Lavinia by Ursula K. Le Guin. I had never heard of this before. The cover is beautiful, but I think it is a story, like a retelling-ish of the Aeneid. I don't even know how to pronounce it, guys. That's how with it I am. It's Greco-Roman mythology stuff, and it sounds really good. So yeah, if you've read this, I would love to hear your opinions about it, because I had never ever heard of it before, but I'm going to be reading that for a blind date with a book. And then the other book that I picked up is a book that Krista and I had talked about buddy reading. She had it, I didn't yet, and so I just picked it up while we were there, and that is Amor Towles' The Lincoln Highway. I was trying to hold out until it came out in paperback, but I really want to read it. And so I just went ahead and got it while we were there. So this was probably the most money I have spent on a book in a really long time. But it's fine. And it supported Malaprops independent bookstore, so I'm really happy about that. So got this. This has to do, it is set in June of 1954, and it has to do with these boys who are on the Lincoln Highway headed out west, I believe. That's really all I know. So those are the two books that I got at Malaprops. Another bookstore that we visited was in Hendersonville, maybe. And that is, oh yeah, it's right here. And that is Joy of Books. It's in Hendersonville, North Carolina. It's another used, and there are used and new books in there. This one I specifically got was used. But there I picked up Ballet Shoes by Noelle Streetfeld, maybe. And I got this specifically because it was Meg Ryan's favorite book in You've Got Mail, and she owned an independent bookstore. So I thought that was fitting. I don't own this one yet, and I loved this copy of it, so I picked this one up at Joy of Books. All right, and then another used bookstore that we went to was, let me find where did it go? There it is. Downtown Books and News. This was in, we each got these really awesome printed bookmarks, and this was in downtown Asheville as well. And there I picked up Robert Dugoni's The Eighth Sister. And so this has to do with a former CIA case officer. He is in his early 60s. He has a family, a new baby on the way, and a security consulting business on the brink of bankruptcy. Then his former bureau chief shows up at his house with a risky new assignment: travel undercover to Moscow and locate a Russian agent believed to be killing members of a clandestine U.S. spy cell known as the Seven Sisters. He's desperate for money. He agrees to the mission, and then he gets over there and realizes it's not quite what he thought it was going to be. So this sounded super interesting and good, so I picked that one up there. Okay, and then most of these other books came from Books for Good. If you saw my previous video about the weekend, you will know a little bit about Books for Good. We ran into Books for Good. It is also, I think it's in Hendersonville. It's between Hendersonville and Asheville, North Carolina, and it was just in a warehouse. And Krista was saying, she was the one kind of in charge of finding all the different bookstores. She's like, we can go check out this one. It kind of looks a little fishy. It's just this big empty warehouse full of books, and it's called Books for Good. It says that it goes towards charity. I don't know, let's just go see. And so we kind of had to like drive into the back of this area, and we're like, I don't know, we'll see. Just kind of like it was kind of, you know, whatever. You guys, when I tell you that this bookstore is my favorite bookstore I have ever been in my entire life, like, I cannot even. It was amazing. It was super well organized. There was a phenomenal selection. It was used books. Everything was priced like jaw on the floor, fantastic prices. It's run by volunteers, and when you donate books to this bookstore, you get to pick which charity of their like list of 30 different charities you want the proceeds to go to for that book. It's just phenomenal. They've raised like over $200,000 in last quarter or last year, I don't remember, they told me, for charity, and it was just it was so much fun. We easily could have spent all day there if we were given the opportunity to. We tried to go back, but it was closed. So yeah, I got a huge stack of books there because, I mean, why not? All right, the first one is City of Thieves by David Benioff. This is one that comes highly recommended by Gloria, from the channel Gloria Z. Thompson. And this one was 98 cents. It's a slightly beat up, but I mean, still totally readable. Like, I don't even care. And this has to do with the siege on Leningrad during World War II. The next one that I got is a hardcover of After the Flood by Cassandra Montag. This was one of Katie from Life Between Words' favorite books last year, and it's a dystopian. It's like the whole world has flooded, and this mom gets separated from one of her kids, and she's trying to find her other kid, something along those lines. This was $5, so winning. And this cover, like, hello, gorgeous. All right, another hardcover I picked up is Giver of Stars by Jojo Moyes. This was one of my favorite books last year. Like, I love this book. This was $4. It's a little bit beat up, but for a hardcover, I was good with it. Oh, this is about the Pack Horse Library in Kentucky in the 1930s, something like that. And yeah, it so good. If you liked Where the Crawdads Sing, read this. You'll love it. One that I picked up that I had never heard of before is The Historians by Cecilia Ekbach. 1943, Sweden's neutrality has come under enormous pressure from many. Laura Dahlgren, the bright young right-handed assistant to the Sweden chief diplomat negotiator, has consciously avoided becoming involved in the political intrigue until her best friend Britta is murdered in cold blood. She's trying to find her killer. It leads her to the secretary of the Minister of Foreign Affairs. We'll see. I'm very excited. That sounds good. And this one was $4.98. All right, a middle grade I picked up is Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. I don't know if this is middle grade or YA. It was $2.98. It is a retelling of the fairy tale The Goose Girl, I believe. It's a retelling, yeah, Grimm's Fairy Tale. And I just know a ton of people have read this and loved it, and so I decided to give it a shot. I also picked up The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. I know Krista really likes Simone St. James for like creepy stuff. I've tried reading a few creepy things and I'm just not creeped out by them, so I'm hoping that this one, maybe this one. This was $3.98, so, and it is in great condition. One that I got that I did not even know that this was a book. You guys, I'm not even joking. Zorro by Isabel Allende. I have wanted to read Isabel Allende. Allende? This is the story of Zorro. I did not know that this was based off a book. Apparently it is. I don't know. We'll see. $2.98. One that I was super excited to find. 248, Beneath the Scarlet Sky by Mark Sullivan. I have his new book. I have not read it yet. I really, really want to, but I've heard really good things about this one. I know it's World War II. That's really all I know. I honestly have no idea what it's even about. Pino Leia wants nothing to do with the war or the Nazis. He's a normal Italian teenager obsessed with music, food, and girls, but his days of innocence are numbered when his family home in Milan is destroyed by Allied bombs. Pino joins an underground railroad helping Jews escape over the Alps and falls for Anna, a beautiful widow 6 years his senior. Aww. I want to read it. All right, another one that I was super excited to find is What the Wind Knows by Amy Harmon. I read Where the Lost Wander by Amy Harmon earlier this year and absolutely loved it. I have no clue what this one's about. Ireland 1921. I honestly have no idea. This was $4.98. Love it. One that was completely just a cover by, I've never heard of this before in my life. The Art of Hearing Heartbeats by Jan Philip Sentker. Jan, it's probably Jan Philip Sentker. There's a guy on the back. I'm guessing it's Jan. But like, seriously, what even? It's so pretty. It says, when Julia Wint's father disappears one day, her family is shocked and confused. That is until they find a love letter he'd written many years ago to a woman in Burma. Intent on solving the mystery and piecing together her father's mysterious past, Julia decides to put her own budding legal career on hold to travel to the small mountain village of Kalau? I don't know. There she is approached by a man who claims to know her father and also seems to have an uncanny knowledge of Julia herself. She meets with him every afternoon and listens to incredible tales of her father's youth, of his childhood blindness, his education at a monastery, and most of all, about his romantic relationship with a local girl. What Julia uncovers is a tale of unimaginable hardship, resilience, and passion that will forever change her own life. $2.98. Like, whatever. Yeah, I'm so excited. And then the last one I got there was Diane Chamberlain's Breaking the Silence. I had never heard of this one, but Lindsey read it. She said it was good. I honestly have no clue. A father's dying wish, a husband's shocking suicide, a daughter's inexplicable silence. I have no idea. Sounded good. I'm all down for Diane Chamberlain all the time. And then 3 books that I got. Where did they go? Let's see. At that bookstore, you can see this in Krista's vlog of that weekend. We got a big box of books for $6. It was like 30 books for $6. And we were just like, let's see what's in it. And so the 3 books that I ended up getting out of that box and taking home is a copy of The Kite Runner. I have a copy of The Kite Runner, but it's really, really beat up, and this one is like brand new. So I took that one. I also took The Dress Lodger. This is in Sunderland, England, a city quarantined by the cholera epidemic. A defiant 15-year-old beauty in an elegant blue dress makes something, it's under the tag, between shadow and lamplight. A potter's assistant by day and dress lodger by night, Gustine sells herself for necessity in a rented gown, scrimping to feed and protect her only love, her fragile baby boy. She holds a glimmer of hope after meeting Dr. Henry Shiver, a prisoner of his own dark past. But in a world where suspicion of medicine runs rampant like a fever, these 2 lost souls will become irrevocably linked as each crosses lines between rich and destitute, decorum and abandon, damnation and salvation. By turns tender and horrifying, The Dress Lodger is a captivating historical thriller charged with a distinctly modern voice. Sounded interesting. And then I also grabbed Saving Cece Honeycutt by Beth Hoffman. I had heard about this one quite a bit. 12-year-old Cece is in trouble. For years she's taking care of her mother Camille and the town's tiara-wearing, lipstick-smeared laughstock. A woman who is trapped in her long-ago moment of glory in the 1951 Vidalia Onion Queen. When tragedy strikes, Tootie Caldwell, Cece's long-lost great-aunt, comes to rescue and whisk her away to Savannah. There, Cece is catapulted into a perfumed world of prosperity and southern eccentricity, one that appears to run entirely by strong, wacky women. Both hilarious and heartbreaking, Saving Cece Honeycutt charts the journey of an unforgettable girl who loses one mother but finds many others in the storybook city of Savannah. This might be fun. I'm planning on going to Savannah next spring with my mom, so that might be a fun one to read for that. All right, and then last but not least, we were done. I had all of these books, believe it or not, except two, shoved into a regular size backpack in the airport. I'm like carrying them, about to break my back. And then Lindsey and I decided to go into the airport bookstore. Why? Because we can't help ourselves, you guys. We just can't help ourselves. It's not our fault. And so while we were there, her and I both picked up this book, The Hidden Child by Louise Fine. We both had never ever heard of this before. And we read the back and we were both like, what? We must read this. And so we both got it and have started reading it. But it is set first in 1928 is when it starts, and it is about a girl who is married to someone who believes in eugenics and is like on the forefront of eugenics in 1928, and then her in Europe, and then her daughter becomes epileptic, or is epileptic. They find out she's epileptic and is having seizures. And so her world just starts falling apart, and she has to decide, like, does she really agree with what her husband has been doing all this time, or like saving her daughter? And it's just wild. So I can't wait to keep reading this. And then the last book that I got at that same bookstore is The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. This was a previously read used book, so I got it half off. And so, yeah, they had this whole shelf of books that were half off. This certain bookstore in airports does this. And so Lindsey made me buy this one. She's like, you must buy this. It is historical fiction, 1940, 1947. I really honestly have no clue what it's about. It's about three female code breakers at Bletchley Park and the spy they must uncover after the war is over. So, yeah, sounds good. All right, those are all of the books that I bought during my weekend away with my friends. And yeah, if you have read any of these, let me know. Let me know which ones I need to prioritize. Like I said, I am reading this one right now. I actually am planning on reading a couple more of these in November. I am really excited to get to them. So yeah, let me know which ones you love, and make sure to check out Lindsey and Krista and Sarah's channels and watch their book hauls as well as our other videos from our getaway. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you stick around and subscribe, and until next time, see ya!